Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Hitesh Jetwani. Welcome you on my YouTube channel. I know this has been a long time. We haven't uploaded any video. I'm sorry for this, and now I promise you that we will upload the videos on regular basis. Today I have the video for the students of second year BCom semester 3 economics, and the chapter name is trade policy. In this chapter we will learn trade policy, protective trade policy. So there are the different types of trade policy: free trade policy and protective trade policy, as you can see on slide. Then the advantages and disadvantages as well. Then third we have infant industry and expand to industrialization. Let us start. So, what is free trade policy? A policy by which a government does not discrimination against imports or interference with the export by applying tariff of subsidies. A free trade policy doesn't necessarily imply, however, that country abandon all control and taxation of imports and exports. Now, let me help you with the सिंपल डेफिनेशन व्हाट फ्री ट्रेड पॉलिसी। सो फ्री ट्रेड पॉलिसी एक ऐसी पॉलिसी है जहाँ पे जब गवर्नमेंट इंटरनेशनल ट्रेड करते हैं, यानी कि मतलब अगर गवर्नमेंट इंपोर्ट या एक्सपोर्ट करते हैं, उस समय पे गवर्नमेंट किसी भी तरीके की रिस्ट्रिक्शंस लगाए बिना इंपोर्ट और एक्सपोर्ट करने देते हैं। सो लेट मी हेल्प यू विद द सम रिस्ट्रिक्टिव पॉलिसीज, लाइक कि किस किस तरीके के रिस्ट्रिक्शंस हुआ करते थे या अभी भी हैं। सो दैट्स आर टैरिफ एंड कोटा। सो बेसिकली टैरिफ स्टैंड्स फॉर द अमाउंट। हर एक इंडस्ट्री को एक अमाउंट दी जाती है और वो अमाउंट से ज़्यादा वो एक्सपोर्ट नहीं कर सकते। एंड देन सेकेंड वी हैव कोटा। सो कोटा इज़ ऑल्सो पॉलिसी वेयर the quantity is given or percentage is given to the industries, so उससे ज़्यादा वो लोग export नहीं कर सकते. But in free trade policy each and everything is very simple. There is no restriction, there is no extra taxes, all the things are very easy, so you can do import and export in very easy way, and with the help of free trade policy your business also grows and expands. Okay, let us see some of the advantages on next slide. The we have advantages. The first one is expand division of labor. Now the main question is, what things do we export and what things do we import? So basically there are different things. First one is goods, services, technology and know-how process. So in the same way, when we talk about free trade policy, in the same policy it is very easy to transfer the services to the other country. Like it's very easy that we can send our professionals to their country and their professionals also come in our country. So labor division expands and each and every country gets benefit of this. Second, total output increases. Now what happens here, when you see, if the trade is protective trade policy, as we are gonna to discuss next after this. So if protective trade policy is there, so there are the restrictions on. If the restrictions are there, your size of business, the scale of business is very small. Here in free trade policy there are no restrictions and each and everything is going to be very easy, so you can expand the business and the scale also increases. Then third, we have rare commodity available. Now the first main thing which we need to understand, in free trade policy each and every country would get specialized in one important thing. Like we take example, India is specialized in agriculture, Russia is specialized in weapons and arms ammunition, and Japan, Korea, China, they are specialized in technology. In the same way, if the free trade policy is there, so what the scenario will be there, each and every country would only focus to get maximum profit from one industry. They would only focus on one industry, as they know that other things they would import on the same price. So there would be no price discrimination. In free trade policy all the things are सोल्ड एट द सेम प्राइस. सारी जो चीज़ें हैं वो एक ही प्राइस पे सेल की जाती है. सो व्हाट कंट्री वुड डू, कंट्री वुड टारगेट वन इंडस्ट्री. जैसे कि इंडिया अगर टारगेट कर देता है कि हम एग्रीकल्चर पे ही ध्यान देंगे, सो इंडिया वुड बी स्पेशलाइज्ड इन एग्रीकल्चर. सो बाकी जो चीज़ें हैं, लेट्स टॉक अबाउट इंडस्ट्रीज, मशीनरीज और टेक्नोलॉजी, वो सारी चीज़ें हमें क्या करनी पड़ेंगी, इम्पोर्ट करनी पड़ेंगी. Then where consumers are benefited. So that is very simple thing. If free trade policy is there, no price discrimination is there, no extra charges, no tariff, no quota, no custom duties, nothing would be there. So the benefit would be given directly to the customer. Then currency available, so that's very easy thing, like if free trade policy is there, if government removes all the restrictions from import and exports, all the things will be available. As far as currency will also be available at a very cheap rate, and that will be available very easily, like from everywhere you can get the foreign currencies as well. Then we have advantages to developing countries. Now the main factor, as we know, there are two kinds of countries, developing and developed countries. So here, if developing country targets any one industry and they start producing those particular things in a huge quantity, so now what would happen if they get good international market, that country would also develop, so it is very helpful for the developing countries. Then we have benefit of technology, the same, like we have some few countries, like let me give you some example. We have China, Korea and Japan. If the technology, they get specialization in technology, they would only focus on technology, or all sectors will be removed from that country, they will only focus on technology, they would produce the different kind of technologies, and each and every country would get benefit just because of free trade policy. Then we have reduces the monopoly, like here there are the free trade policy, there is no price discrimination, so here no country would be able to create monopoly until and unless, as we know, the competition is always there, like there are more than 300 plus countries, so competition will also be there, so it will be very difficult to create monopoly until and unless if the only one country is there in particular industry. Then we have maximum welfare. So welfare stands for the customer benefit, as we discussed already. Customer would get each and everything at very low rate, very cheap price. So as we know, there are the no extra charges, nothing, no custom duties, no different taxes are there. So directly it would be benefited to the customer and local public, so it will be very helpful for the welfare as well. Then development of transportation and communication, now that's very simple thing. As we know that if free trade policy is there, each and every person, each and every entrepreneur would get benefited to do to do business in different countries. So if this kind of people are there, they are engaged in the import and export, automatically the transportation and communication facilities would expand, because otherwise without these facilities, without transportation and without communication, the industries won't work, they would not be able to supply the goods in different countries. So this is a main factor, that transportation and communication industries will also grow. Then international correlation, now international correlation what actually is, so as we know, like if we start selling our products to different countries, and if we start purchasing products from different countries, the relation would grow as we maintain the relations with our customers. So in the same way, here the relation between two countries would also get benefited, the relation would be better than previous. Then the last, we have ability to face natural calamities. Now let's take an example how it will be helpful to the facing natural calamities. Let's take an example. If you only get specialized in agriculture and we do not produce any other things, in free trade policy each and every country would get one, would focus on only one industry. So here there are the different countries as well, so like if any natural calamity comes in our country, we would be able to import the same products from the different countries at the same price, so there would be no price discrimination, so you would be able to overcome the problems, overcome the disasters, overcome the natural calamities as well. Then we have next slide. This slide is for disadvantages. As we all know that each and every coin has two sides. The first one is advantages. Now let us discuss the disadvantage. The first one is all side of development is not possible. So as we discussed in free trade policy, what would happen, each and every country would try to focus on particular one industry. Now what happened, like if we focus on only on agriculture, the other sectors would remain backward in our country, so we need to rely on other countries for those sectors. So that is actually not good thing, and this is the major reason we do not follow this free trade policy. Second, we have concentration of economic power. So now what concentration of economic power is, like we have different sectors, primary, secondary and tertiary. So now what would happen if country focus on industries only, The concentration of economy would be only for the industries. Now, the agriculture sector and the service sector, these both sectors would remain backward. Then third one is dumping. So now, what actually dumping is? So if you are doing trade with different country, if you are relying for particular thing, like if you are relying for petrols and lubricants on Arabian countries, and what happens here, for some reason Arabian countries, they are not ready to supply the goods to you, to your country. Now in this case, it would be like dumping. The same way, we can also do that we stop purchasing lubricants from those countries, and we start purchasing lubricants from the different countries. So that's one, that is also called a dumping. Then decrease in welfare. So here, as we saw in advantage, it is for the welfare, and it is also not for welfare, not for welfare in the sense, here, like if only one particular country is there and they are just generating monopoly in that particular product. So if they increase the price, the customer has to pay the higher price. So it is not for the welfare of the country. Second thing, in your country there will be only one sector, so that's also not for welfare for the other people. Everyone would not get the same kind of employment from one industry only. Then next we have dependency is harmful. So that's very clear. So if you are relying for the particular things on different countries, so relying is not a good thing. So it would be like you are laying just let's take an example. If India focuses on industries and service sector, so we need to rely on other countries for agriculture, and it would be very harmful. Relying is not a good thing for, so we need to manage each and every sector. Then we have unemployment increases, so that's very common thing. So if you're focusing on one industry, like if you're focusing on agriculture only, so each and every person would not be interested doing agriculture, right? So the people would be different kind of people would be there. They would be having a different kind of education. So the people won't get satisfaction or employment from one industry only, from agriculture only. Then we have development of local industries. So how the local industries would develop? So that's actually disadvantages. If you're starting import and export, like import and export, that's only for the big scale industries. And local industries, small scale industry, they would not be able to produce on huge quantity, so that's not good for them. They would not be able to compete with the huge or big scale industries in the way. So that is actually harmful for the small scale industries. And then we have dangerous for future, that we already discussed, that dependency is not good. So what if happens, like the relation between two countries damages, if the relation between two countries are not good or not well-being. So in the same case, what happens here, it will be dangerous for future also, because we are relying on different countries. And the next we have depression. So depression is also period. We know that in economy, depression is a period where for a long term of period the goods are not being sold. So suppose, let's take an example. If you are focusing on agriculture only, and agriculture industry is facing a huge depression in the market, on international market, so for the long term of period we would not be able to do a business on a large scale. We would not be able to grow economy for our country. Then we have last one, harmful for developing countries. As we already discussed, for developing countries it is very harmful, because they would not be able to compete with the developed countries. They have good machineries, they have labors, they have specialized labors, they have capital as well. But developing countries, they do not have this kind of facilities, so that's also very dangerous for the developing countries. Then we have next slide for protection policy. Now, as we discuss about the free trade policy, in free trade policy, like there will be no discrimination on the basis of prices, and there are no restrictions. But we do follow protection policy. As you can see on the slide, we do follow protection policy. In protection policy, we can, like, government has intervention, government would play important role in protection policy. Government would be authorized to apply any kind of taxes on the product. So, like, what kind of advantages are there? So government applies taxes on any kind of product, so the import would decrease, like the thing will become expensive, so we stop purchasing those things from the different countries, and that's very good for our country. We should focus on export. We should start increasing focus. We should start increasing focus on exports, not on imports. So let us take example and meaning. The first one, the meaning of protection policies. Protectionism refers to government policies that restriction international trade to help domestic industry. So basically, why do government puts restriction on the trade? So basically, that's the main reason is, so we should focus on home country. Like, so if we start if we start doing businesses with the other countries, if we export all the products, so what would happen at the last stage? The price of the goods in home country would increase. So that's the main reason government follows the protection policy. Protectionist policies are usually implemented with the goal to improve economic activity within the domestic economy, but can also be implemented for the safety and quality concerns. As we know that each and every country has different kind of policies. They have some things which are banned in their country. So government also follows this policy, protection policy, that illegal things should not enter in the country. The features are there, labor argument. So basically, in this policy, there were some labor arguments. Like, if we take example of, if you are following any free trade policy, so what would happen? Like, each and every labor would also get a chance to go in different countries, right? But if protection policy is there, that would be also different or difficult for the laborers as well. So now, let me help you with the एग्जाम्पल. फ्री ट्रेड पॉलिसी में क्या था, गुड्स के साथ साथ सर्विसेज जो थी वो भी इजी थी. लाइक, हम जो हमारे लेबर्स हैं वो हम दूसरी कंट्री में भेज सकते हैं और दूसरी कंट्री से हम हमारे लेबर मंगवा भी सकते हैं. बट इन प्रोटेक्शन ट्रेड पॉलिसी देर आर द रिस्ट्रिक्शंस ऑन लेबर्स एज वेल, ऑन प्रोडक्ट्स एज वेल, and these are the labor arguments. So that's also, protection policy is not good for goods and for services as well, but it is good for country, home country, कि home country में ज़्यादा महंगाई ना बढ़ जाए. The second, expanding home market. So that's very common thing. So if you are focusing on free trade policy, if you are doing only international trade, so what would happen? You are just giving benefit of your products to the host country, not to the home country. So अगर home country में ही products नहीं बचेंगे, तो it would be like कि that will be increasing in the prices. So it's not good for our country. Then third, we have keeping money at home. So if you are following protection policy, so what would happen? It would be very difficult to import the products from different country. In free trade policy, it is very easy that we can easily import the products, and if we import the products, we pay them. So our currency goes to the other countries. Here in protection policy, all the money remains in our country, right? Then we have full employment. So in protection trade policy, we would focus on all the sectors, primary, secondary and tertiary, all the sectors, and from all the sectors people would get maximum employment. And let me give you one more example कि यहाँ पे कैसा होता है कि हम चीज़ें अगर बाहर से खरीदते हैं, रेडीमेड चीज़ें खरीदते हैं, इफ़ देर इज़ नो प्राइस डिस्क्रिमिनेशन एज पर द फ्री ट्रेड पॉलिसी, तो होगा क्या, यहाँ पे जो होम कंट्रीज़ में जो कंपनीज वर्क करती हैं उनके प्रोडक्ट सेल नहीं होंगे. सो इफ़ दे आर नॉट एबल टू सेल प्रोडक्ट्स, how the employees would get the employment. Are you getting my point? So employees जो हैं उनको काम कैसे मिलेगा अगर होम कंट्रीज़ की जो कंपनीज हैं, अगर उनका बिजनेस ही नहीं हो रहा, so that will be very difficult to give employment to the each and every person. Then we have defense. So free trade policy में डिफेंस का भी बहुत बड़ा इशू रहता था, जबकि प्रोटेक्शन ट्रेड पॉलिसी में वी हैव डिफेंस एज वेल. सो वी कैन स्टॉप द प्रोडक्ट्स विच आर इलीगल, वी कैन स्टॉप देम ऑन द बाउंड्रीज एज वेल. वो जो चीज़ें, जैसे कि लेट्स टेक एन एग्जांपल, हमारी कंट्री में कोकीन, ड्रग्स एंड लिक्वर, सो लिक्वर इन गुजरात एक्चुअली, दैट इज बैन. सो फ्री ट्रेड पॉलिसी में आप किसी भी प्रोडक्ट को आने दे सकते हो, जबकि प्रोटेक्शन ट्रेड पॉलिसी में you would be able to stop those things to coming in your countries, right? Then keep safe domestic markets. तो यहाँ पे फ्री ट्रेड पॉलिसी में जो ज़्यादा बेनिफिट था, those benefits were going to the foreign countries, but here the main benefits would be given to the domestic markets in protection trade policies. Diversification of industries. So free trade policy में हमने देखा था कि we would focus on only one industry, but here what would happen, we need to focus on each and every industry. तो द डाइवर्सिफिकेशन, द डिफरेंट काइंड ऑफ प्रोडक्ट्स वुड बी अवेलेबल इन अवर कंट्री, और वो सारी चीज़ें जो हैं हमारी कंट्री में अवेलेबल रहेंगी और सारी इंडस्ट्रीज जो हैं डे बाय डे ग्रो करेंगे. देन वी हैव स्टॉप डंपिंग. जो हमने फ्री ट्रेड पॉलिसी में देखा था कि इफ़ यू आर रिलाइंग ऑन पर्टिकुलर वन कंट्री फॉर सेलिंग और फॉर परचेसिंग, तो यहाँ पे वहाँ पे उस फ्री ट्रेड पॉलिसी में दैट वाज वेरी इजी टू डंप एनी कंट्री, बट यहाँ पे डंप होना दैट्स नॉट एक्चुअली इजी. Then we have next slide for arguments to expand industrialization. So now how the industrialization would expand? The first one is all industries. So protection trade policy में each and every इंडस्ट्री वुड ग्रो, चाहे वो प्राइमरी सेक्टर की हो, चाहे वो सेकेंडरी की हो, चाहे वो सर्विस सेक्टर ही क्यों ना हो, हर एक इंडस्ट्री, हर एक सेक्टर क्या करेगा, ग्रो करेगा. देन एक्सपांशन ऑफ बेसिक इंडस्ट्रीज. सो बेसिक इंडस्ट्रीज मतलब वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट द इंडस्ट्रीज विच आर स्मॉल और मीडियम स्केल इंडस्ट्रीज. तो यहाँ पे क्या होगा, उन कंपनीज को भी चांस मिलेगा कि दे कैन ट्रेड in home countries as well, so they would also be able to compete in the market. Then we have advantage of markets, balanced industrialization. As we already discussed, balanced industrialization means we do have different kind of industries, so each and every industry would get chance to increase, to grow. Use of limited resources. Now let me help you with one example. If you only specialize in agriculture, so now what would happen, we would be taking more and more resources from agriculture, we would be using maximum natural resources. Now what would happen after 10 years or 15 years, we would not be able to focus on agriculture, right? So let me help you one more example. If you are doing any industry which is totally based on forest raw material, so those forest raw materials are available at the limited quantity. Now if you are using all the resources, now what would happen here, after some period of time these resources will not be available, you need to face crisis at that time. So protection trade policy would help in this. Then protection in ups and downs. So simple, the relation between two countries that cannot be predicted. At the sometime they are good and sometime they are very bad, so ups and downs can come. And the same way, so if free trade policy is there, they would get chance to create monopoly, but in protection trade policy we are not actually relying on them, we are just importing the products or we are just selling the products, but we are not actually relying on them, so that would be very helpful for our country. Then advantage of capital technology. सो यहाँ पे भी ऐसा रहता है कि हमारे पास जो कैपिटल टेक्नोलॉजी है उनके भी हमें एडवांटेजेस मिलते रहते हैं. सो हियर वी आर डन विद द चैप्टर. Let me help you one more thing, that we will be uploading the next videos on regular basis. I need your support. Please subscribe my channel, please like, share, comment, and thank you so much for watching this video. Stay safe, have a great day. Bye bye.